Resolution. You're probably wondering why the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings is displayed above. Well, in the show, the eye saw everything very clearly, and that is what resolution represents. It describes the level of sharpness or clarity of an image. Resolution is also determined by the amount of pixels used in the formation of an image. Therefore, if something on a screen goes out of focus, the number of pixels on the screen stays. However, the image would be lost in detail to the eye. Visual pathways. The optic pathway begins in the retina, which is a complex structure made up of 10 different layers. The photoreceptor layer consists of rods and cones. The ganglion cell layer and nerve fiber layer serve as the foundation of the optic nerve, which control the nasal and temporal parts of the visual field. The fibers join together at the optic disc and are redirected posteriorly out of the eye to form the orbital part of the optic nerve, allowing free movement of the cerebral spinal fluid between the eye and the intracranial vault. The axon exits the orbit through the orbital foramen with the help of the artery in the sympathetic fibers. It continues to the two optic nerves joined together to form the optic chiasm, directly behind and above the pituitary stalk. Beyond the chiasm, the pathway continues as two distinct tracts, each carrying temporal fibers, form the other eye. The optic tract then passes posteriorly, where most of the axons in the layers of the lateral geniculate body to become the geniculocalcarine tract and terminate into the conius and lingual gyrus of the primary visual cortex.
Visual processing occurs in the visual cortex of the brain's occipital lobe, and it can be divided into 5 visual areas labeled V1 to V5. Each area contains layers of neurons arranged in columns that comprise of simple and complex cells, and these neurons respond to specific visual stimuli. The layers of V1, especially layer 4, contain mainly simple cells that respond to basic visual cues, such as the orientation and direction of bars and edges, and each column responds to only a particular orientation. V1 creates the basis of visual patterns for the further processing of the image perceived. V2 neurons are more responsive to color, object orientation, and spatial orientation. And from V3 to V5, the information is divided among ventral, or what, and dorsal, where pathways. Of course, how we interpret what we process is affected by our perception of the world around us. Perception refers to how we assimilate our senses, and this is influenced by past experiences of similar nature.
Created using Powtoon.